guys, Ellen Woodbridge here, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia, and I would like to welcome you to our March Christmas Stampathon. And this month we are playing with festive flowers. Now you've got a couple of options about how we're playing with festive flowers. You can do a bag topper, a box, or a fancy card, and I've gone for a bit of a fancy card with some foil and some die cuts, no stamping on these cards at all. So just before we start, I will go ahead and tell you what products I've used. So I've used the Wreath Builder die here to create the wreath using these two dies, and I've done 3 layers, and I've used the poinsettia flower to create the poinsettia, and for the word joy I have used the Playful alphabet. I have also added in the In Good Taste paper, which is this beautiful tiled background, which I thought looked perfect, and the old olive linen, the old olive braided linen trim for our bow on our wreath. And also now I've used both the metallic pearls, which come in gold and silver, and I've used our basic jewel, our pearl basic jewels. I always say the name wrong, but our normal pearls and our magnetic pearl, our metallic pearls. Oh my dear word, at least you know you're getting real-time, real-life crafting here. Now the reason I may be falling over my words is I have made 15 so far of this card. I do send a lot of Christmas cards, so we're only asking you to make 4 projects, but I go a little above and beyond because I send a lot of Christmas cards, and the whole aim of our challenge is to be prepared for Christmas. So I'm going to pop a few things aside and we're going to get started. So the colours that we are using are Real Red Cherry Cobbler, Mossy Meadow, and the foils we are using, I have gone ahead and pre-cut a few things. We are using gold, copper, and brass. So they're the foils or the metallics that I have put together, and this is where I want to start layering these together. So what I have started with, and this is a bit skew-if from where I have been storing it while I made the other cards. So what we will do, we will layer these together. I have our silicone mat here, and I'm going to bring in our multi-purpose glue. So this is a great liquid glue that gives you a bit of wiggle room. Now, because these wreaths are quite open, I'm just going ahead on all the middle leaves. I don't think I've missed a middle leaf there. All our middle leaves, and just popping a little dot of glue. And then we've got the center part of our wreath as our guide. I'm going to pop that down. I did do these the other way. I did do the copper, the brass, and then the gold, but we're going to do a bit differently with this one because it's just the way I have picked it up. Now, this glue does take a little longer to dry, but it will dry nice and strong. And what I have also done, just let me line this up. I don't want them to line up the seams, so I want some of the leaves seen so they all peek out. So that's why I like the mix of metallics. Now these don't particularly want to stay together. So what I'm going to do is take one of my large Stampin' blocks. This is an E block, and I'm going to pop this block on for a few minutes till it's dry. Now, I was a bit smart, and by the power of my video, I'm not going to say television, I have already done one and adhered it to my cherry cobbler card front and my paper. Okay, so next I'm going to show you how I very simply layered these flowers together. So what I did, I put the cherry cobbler layer on the bottom, and then I have put the real red on top, and this just gives some really nice depth to the flower. Now you can see in this card here, some of the dots in the middle have come out, and that's okay. It just happens these two are perfect. So if the dots have come out, I have put the glue not where the open spaces are, because we won't get our flowers adhering nicely that way. So once again, I am going to pop that aside, and by the power of television, see, it just rolls off the tongue. I have made two more. So I would love to hear from you, and I'm just going to adhere these layered and just off to the side. So you can see here, just going to pop glue on either side here and pop that down. So I'd love to hear if you're enjoying this year's Christmas Stampathon projects and if you've participated. So you can find us over on Facebook, and we have 3 to 4 inspiration projects per month from our admin, and a couple of us do, oh sorry, I should say 4 to 5 videos, and a number of us do these videos as well as projects. And because we're adhering this to foil, it's a good idea just to pop another block on it. So I do have a number of blocks in my stash, so you can join us, and all we ask that you do is share a photo of your project to provide inspiration, and from that photo we will pick some random winners, and I and the other admin team will send one of our cards to 5 lucky recipients every month, so just by random. So I'm just adhering this piece down just while we're waiting for everything to dry. So bringing our wreath back in, popping my block back away. So you can see I've still got a bit of wet glue here, and that's okay. So this is how I assembled all the cards. So they're all in varying stages of assembly all across my desk here, but it worked well, and I was able to use my time wisely and well. So I'm going to pop this back down, bring back in our block and pop this down. So we're doing 2 cards at once today, and bring this card back. Now I have already tied my braided linen bows, and we are going to attach those with a glue dot folded in half, because a whole glue dot will be a bit too big and you will see the glue dots. So what I do, these are the scissors I use for everything. So I pop it off and I just fold it in half. So I'll just show you closer up. So I just fold it in half, and what I'm going to do is just pop it on the wreath here, and then I'm going to take my bow to the wreath. So I pre-tied these. It was a good TV activity, just sitting there tying these. Now next, I wanted to talk to you about our sentiment. So our sentiment is using the Playful alphabet. So this is a whole alphabet set, and I love that on the backer sheet we have printed all the letters, so you know if you're missing a die and you know where they all live. So most of the time I just discard this backing sheet and pop them on my magnetic sheets here, but with this one I couldn't. I had to keep this sheet because you can see I've taken out my J, my O, I was going to say 0, and Y. Okay, so I'll pop those away, and they are really good value for $59 here in Australia. It's a great set, and you can make any word you want. Now, how I will show you. The letters are actually dimensional, and you may think that's really hard, Ellen. How did you do that? Now, I have used our foam adhesive sheets, and they come in one big whole sheet, and I'll show you a partial one out of the packet. So rather than having them cut hexagonally like our Stampin' Dimensionals, they're in a whole sheet. And you just have your backing front and back. So what I have done with that is peel off the backing on one side and popped some Mossy Meadow cardstock. I'm going to pop this card to the side. I'm going to pop a couple of our things to the side here, and I have run it through our machine. So what I did, I popped the J, the O and the Y down as I liked them, and just used some painter's tape, and I stuck them down. So then I can just stick it down to our piece and roll it through our die cut machine, and I have dimensional and sticky letters all in one pass. Now, believe it or not, this will go perfectly through our mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, because I did this many times. This is time number 17 to be exact. So I've just got my base plate and my 2 number 2 plates, so nothing special. And this just rolls through. Not quite as smoothly as a plain piece of paper, but it does go through beautifully. And as you can see from the back, that has cut through. So just pop my plates to the side here, and I'm going to very carefully peel this off. Now, because I'm being not so careful, because I know I am not reusing this piece, and I did have to replace, sorry, it's just the background piece that is ripping. You can see the letters are perfect. I did have to replace the masking tape a few times, but I did just use one of these cutout pieces as my guide to reline up the letters. So they may have moved a teeny tiny bit, but they are all perfect. So you can see there, that is what I have done. Had I have pulled it off more carefully, I would be able to reuse that. Okay, so we have our joy, and how I line this up, I'm going to take our Take Your Pick tool, and oops, I twisted that as I opened it. I'm going to take our piecing tool end and just grab off the backing. So let's see if I can get this all in one piece. And do you know what I need to do? I need to find my bowl, which has gone missing, and I'm going to very carefully pop out the middle of the O. Yeah, that is going to want to stick to everything, so I'll stick it to something, and then just take, and I'm just taking the backing off the letters because I found this is the easiest way to line it up really, really well. And when you pop it through the die cut machine, the foam just springs straight back, and I'll show you that in a second. So it does compress as it cuts, but the foam does just spring back to normal thickness. So now what I'm going to do is just take this in my hands, and I am just going to line this up. Now if it's not perfectly straight, that's okay, it's a handmade card. And then because the outside piece still has our backing on it, just trying to carefully take off this J and just pop it over a bit. That's our word on. Now if I wanted to, I could get some extra punches or things out of this, but alas, I am not doing that today. And while I'm here, I'm going to show it to you once more with my pre-prepared piece, and I'm going to be a bit smarter. Maybe I'm not, because I nearly punched out that whole joy, or the O in joy. Let's see, haha, the backing came off without taking the O out, the middle of the O out, which is good. That didn't happen on the last piece. Get our Y going here. Oh, come on. Love it when the camera goes on and things don't want to play just as nicely as they have for the rest. And of course, it is always the last one. Whoops, okay. That's fine, because even though it ripped, I was able to pop it down. So you can see everything doesn't always go perfectly, but that was definitely fixable, which was good. Take off the Y, a little bit fiddly for my hands, but what will be more fiddly for me will be lining these up straight and centered. I would not enjoy that in the slightest. So line it up approximately in the middle. Well, a couple of my cards are a bit off, but as I said, handmade, not Hallmark. Okay, that's that done, and I'm just going to take my piecing tool, just pop the middle of the O because that still has the backing. That will come off nicely, and I will bring back in this card, and we have one very last thing to do, and that is to use our pearls. So what I thought I would use, I didn't quite like the silver pearls on this card because I've used such warm tones, so I'm going to use the very last of my metallic pearls, and on my other card I will use our pearl basic jewels. Okay, so I just keep these in our medium envelopes because I can see what's in them, and if any pearls fall off, they fall off in a packet that is easy for me to get into. Okay, I'm going to use my take your pick tool. Oops, cramp in my finger. Come on, finger, uncramp. Very good. I do apologise for that. You're seeing real life what happens here in my craft area. And I'm just, whoop, that didn't want to come. And I'm just popping these in a cluster of 3 3 or 5s work well. They do have 3 already perforated ones, and if you really wanted to, you could put a small circle of the foil under, I'll show you on this one. I'll just pull one in. Under the open holes, you could put a piece of scrap foil, and that would replicate this look as well. But I do like the dimension of the pearls, and that is a sheet of embellishments used. I love the feeling of finishing a sheet of embellishments. So that is my festive flower card. I do hope that you come over and join us for our Christmas Stampathon challenge on Facebook, and join us making a box, a bag topper, or a fancy card like I have. You have until the 24th of April to put your entries in, and that's your local time, and then we will choose our random act of kindness. If you want to purchase any of the products that I have used today, please don't hesitate to pop over to my store. Link is in the description. If you have any questions or I haven't explained something well enough, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm always here to help. Until next month, I will see you soon. Bye.